Hello everyone. The video today is about the safety of using digestive enzymes long term. Just before jumping into the video, if you don't mind taking a quick second to please either like, share, subscribe, and or post a quick comment on the video, I'd really appreciate it. So thanks in advance for taking a second to do that. And as per usual, nothing I'm saying should be construed as medical advice. This is for informational purposes only, and if you need medical advice, please talk to your healthcare provider to get that advice. So a few patients over the last little bit have been asking me about whether it's safe to take digestive enzymes long term. And today I had a patient who asked about that again, and I thought I better make a video about this because I think it's an important topic to talk about, especially the patient today who is saying, she's taken digestive enzymes and they've really helped her digestion, helped her energy levels, just presumably she's assimilating her food more easily, but she takes them really sparingly because she's heard that it's not safe to take them long term. So my understanding of the concerns around this, and I believe they're theoretical concerns for reasons that I'll say coming up, is because the idea that, if I'm taking digestive enzymes, then that's somehow going to inhibit my body's ability to actually make its own enzymes. So you kind of become dependent on taking those enzymes, and then you can't make them anymore yourself, and then you just really paint yourself into a corner. So you're like, oh no, now I'm stuck taking enzymes all the time. So that's a reasonable concern on paper, I think, and I've heard that concern before from a few different sources here and there. But what it comes down to is what does clinical experience actually show us, and is there any research literature to support the idea that that's something that actually happens? So to my understanding, I have not, or in my experience, I have not found any research literature to say that that's something that happens. And the reality of it is that digestive enzymes are fairly well studied because there are actually pharmaceutical grade digestive enzymes. They're basically pancreatin extracts, pancreatin being basically dried up, ground up pancreatic tissue. They're typically put in these special acid resistant capsules. Some of them are put in what they call these little microspherules, which help to improve the volume to surface area ratio of the enzymes, but they're used for people with who have had pancreatic destruction from, say, pancreatic cancer, chronic pancreatitis, or folks with cystic fibrosis who oftentimes have a lot of pancreatic related issues. And so these have been really, really well studied. And to my understanding, they have not been shown to lead to a downregulation of the production of enzymes by these folks. Now, these folks who are generally being studied in these studies are on the enzymes because they already have a deficiency of these enzymes, but they haven't reported that it leads to further reduction in the enzymes that they're already producing on their own, that they need progressively higher dosages over time. So there doesn't seem to be any research literature saying that this is something that actually happens. Now, there are plenty of things out there that happen in life, and they have not done research studies confirming that they happen. So it's not to say that just because it hasn't been shown in a study, it's not a real thing. But to my understanding, there's no scientific basis for that concern. It's a theoretical concern, fair enough, but no actual scientific science backing that up. Now, if anyone listening to this video says, I've seen the study and I've listened to Dr. So-and-so who had all these references or something like that, I'd love to see that information. I'm happy to be proven wrong in the name of, truth and knowledge and all of that. So be happy to see that information if anybody has any references for that. I mean, if it's somebody's website saying I believe this is what happens, I mean, send that along too if you want, but I'd be interested in actual sort of scientific proof that that's something that's happening. The other I guess backing up information around my feelings that enzymes are not dangerous to take long term for reasons that related to not making enzymes yourself anymore, or for any other reason for that matter, is also just based on clinical experience as well. So I don't know how many patients I have prescribed enzymes to. I would assume that it's somewhere in the 1,000 patients or so, give or take, over the years, maybe broaching 2,000 patients. I'm not really sure. I've also mentored many residents over the years as well who have told me about their cases, and we talked about their cases. So I've been privy to the information about many, many, many patients being prescribed enzymes over time. And I've never seen clinically a scenario where the patient was on enzymes for a significant period of time, then they came off the enzymes and just couldn't, and then they had to go back on them because they just didn't seem to be able to make their own enzymes anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, I have some patients where they're on enzymes, they're doing better, they come off the enzymes and their symptoms come back, and so they go back on the enzymes, but it's not like their digestion was worse than it was before they started on the enzymes. And in many of those cases, it's an indication that, enzymes are helping, but like, why do you need the enzymes in the first place? Are you eating foods that your body just has a hard time breaking down? Do you not have enough stomach acid? We need to replenish that first. Do you have something like SIBO or LIBO or yeast overgrowth where the digestive function is compromised, and so therefore we need to temporarily use the Band-Aid solution of enzymes? So in many cases where patients are benefiting from enzymes, we treat the root cause of why they need the enzymes in the first place, and then they don't need enzymes anymore, which I think is a good amount of, or some notable proof that it doesn't seem to lead to a dependency. And then the other bit of evidence that I've seen from my clinical practice is that I've had a number of patients who come in and they've been taking enzymes for years and years, and then they say, taking enzymes, they help my digestion to, X, Y, or Z amount, but I still have symptoms, and so then we find the SIBO, the LIBO, the whatever it is that's causing their digestive issues, treat that, and then they come off the enzymes, no problem. So I have had either from my own prescribing patients on enzymes or patients who came in already on enzymes by their own prescribing or from another clinician. And I've just never seen any clinical evidence to suggest that their innate ability to make enzymes is compromised by taking those enzymes. There are certainly some cases that are where the patients are taking enzymes, maybe with or without other elements to a protocol, and then maybe their digestion seems to flare up or get worse over time, which could be related to other things like, say, biofilms potentially, or picking up some other type of gut infection, or maybe having, developing a probiotic deficiency on top of whatever was pre-existing because they had to go on antibiotics or something like that. So I'm certainly not insinuating that there aren't some scenarios where a patient goes on enzymes and then due to some series of events, their digestion maybe becomes worse, but that being related to the enzymes themselves, very, very unlikely, and I don't believe I've ever seen any cases of that. So my opinion is that I think using digestive enzymes is a safe thing to work with. I mean, there may be some exceptions. Of course, some people can't take certain, say, plant-based enzymes because a lot of those are grown on mold petri dishes or in mold mediums, which is kind of crazy to think about. But if a person's really sensitive to mold, they might flare up from enzymes, not because the enzymes are a problem, but because of the residual bits of usually Aspergillus species mold that's kicking around there. There could be reasons a person could flare from enzymes. So I'm not saying they're universally safe across the board, but for the reasons that most people are concerned about them, i.e. not being able to make your own enzymes if you kind of get your body used to taking exogenous enzymes, I don't think that there's really any validity to that concern. But again, if anyone listening has evidence to the contrary, and it could be, again, published research literature, it could also be, hey, just so you know, my experience is that I went on the enzymes and that it really caused problems for me. I mean, I hope that has not happened to anyone, but if it has, and you're watching this video and you're compelled to share, again, I'm always open to hearing any and all information and just try to take it all in and trying to find what's best for patients and where the truth lies with things. So any comments, happy to look at those in the comment section. If anybody has any questions on this topic or anything else, just post in the comment section below and I will do my best to answer as soon as I can.